Hi everyone, this is Angie from AngieExcels.com. So today I'll be covering about index. So index is one of the mostly used lookup and reference function in Excel. And if you've seen blog number 2 and blog number 3, I've also covered other functions under the lookup and reference category. But today I'll be covering index. I'm going to talk about when should you use it, what is its syntax and argument, and where to find it, and how does it work. Okay, and if you want to learn more about the other functions, go to my blog, www.angieexcels.com, or if you're on YouTube, just scroll on my channel and you will see the tutorial. Okay, so let's start. When should I use index? So index is ideal when you have a smaller data set, and that's because by itself its functionality is limited because you have to manually count where the rows are and where the columns are for your lookup value and your desired return value. So by itself you have to use a smaller data set, but if you have a bigger data set, you can use index with other functions, and it can make index with other functions more flexible and more accurate. Okay, so index has two forms of arguments. First is array and the second one is reference. So use the array when you're looking at a single range of cells or have a single data set, and use the reference when you have multiple ranges of cells in different areas. And I'm going to show that to you on the practice data set that we have later on. If you're one of my subscribers, you get this practice data set, and if you're not one of my subscribers and you want the practice data set, just go to my blog website. It's www.angieexcels.com. subscribe and then reply to the email that you will receive and let me know that you want the practice data set. Okay, let's move on. What is index syntax? Like I said earlier, index has two forms of argument, right? So it has two forms of syntax. First is the array, and it's right, this is that one right here, and the other one is reference, and this one is right here. Okay, so you're if it's your first time saying this function, you're probably getting cross-eyed and asking yourself, when will I know how to use this? And I will show that to you again, later on in our practice data set. But the rule of the thumb to understand how this function works, and in everything, understand the deal, understand what each components mean. Okay, so the arguments in the array form, array is just basically your data or your table where your values are located. So for example, in phone book, if somebody asks you what is so and so's number, right, you go to your phone book or your contacts list. So that contacts list is your table, that's your data. Row number, row num means row number. It's the location of the row of your desired return value. So if you want someone's phone number, your desired return value is the phone number part, right? So column num is the location of the column of the desired return value. So it's the same. So the column num or column number is the location of the column of the desired return value. So let's say your row, the person that you're looking for is in row 6 and the column is number 2, and wherever that intersection is, that's your desired return value. Okay, so the reference form, so reference is the data or table where the values you want to look at. Okay, so you can have more than one data or table in multiple areas, and I will show that to you later on so it's clear, when you see it. Row num is the same as the one above. It's the location of the row of the desired return value. Column num in the reference form, though, is the location of the column where you want to look at. So this is more like your lookup value. When you go on your phone book, you don't look for the phone number right away, right? Because that's your desired value, return value. You actually look at the name of the person, for example, to get your desired phone number. So column num is the same. It's the location of the column where you want to look at. Area num is the number of reference where you want to look at. So for example, if you have two data sets, as your reference, and your desired return value is in the second data set, okay, then you will choose number 2. Okay, that's because that's the area where you want to look at. If you just want the name as the return, then you go to number 1. Okay, because that's probably where the name is. And again, I will show you exactly what I mean on our practice data set, so it's easier to understand. Okay, I'll be covering where to find index and how does it work in our practice data set. So this is the practice data set that we have. So as you can see, it's the data that looks like a phone book. Here are the questions, but the one that I want to focus on is number 2. So which city is the Filipino restaurant located? Okay. So let's go to D11, okay, to answer that question. But first, where do we find index? Okay, so you go to formulas, lookup and reference, and then there's index right there. Okay, and I want to use the array part, and I'll explain to you guys why. So you just choose array. Okay, and the reason why it's because I want to choose this whole entire data set. Okay, so that's one data set that I have. And the row number for the Filipino restaurant, okay, so I want the city. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, number 4. And the column number where the Filipino restaurant is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put 4, click on OK, and there you go. It says Washington, D.C. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to show you the shortcut way. So how to type the function instead of, going to the formulas and looking for the index. And it's very simple. So equals, type in index, open parentheses, you choose your data set, okay, comma, and then your row number is 4, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the Filipino restaurant, the column is located on the 4th column, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, close parenthesis, hit enter, and there you go. Okay, now I'm going to be covering the reference form on practice 2. Okay, oh, let me delete that one. So as you can see here, our data set is broken, right? It's in 2 different areas. There's here, which is your first name, and then here is more of like the address or the location, right? And because I have this kind of data set, I will be using the reference form. Okay, so the long way again is you go to formulas, lookup and reference, index, choose the reference form. Okay, so your reference is, so you want to put open parentheses, first name, comma, so we want the city. So the city is right here. Okay, close parentheses. Our row number. So the Filipino restaurant is in the row number 4 right here. Okay. Your column number is number 1, And the reason why you want to go to number 1 is because you want to look at the first name, okay, to get the city. You want to look at that because, like I mentioned earlier, when you go to a phone book, the first thing that you look at is, you know, that person's name or that restaurant's name, not necessarily their phone number. So this is the same case. So column number is 1. And now the area number is where your desired value is. Okay, in this case, because you have 2 data set, A1, A10, and then I1, I10, and the desired return value is the city, and that's I1 to I10, then your area that you want to look at is 2. Okay, then you click on OK, and there you go, Washington, D.C. Okay, so that's the long way. If you're more comfortable or you want to type it in, it's very simple. You type in equals index, okay, open parenthesis and then another open parenthesis. You choose the first name, comma, where the city is, close parenthesis, comma. So the row number is right here, number 4. Okay, column number is right here. Oh, sorry, right here, because that's where the first name is. That's where the name is located. So 1. And then the area number is where your return value is. So right here, right? Which is this one right here. So 2. Close parenthesis. There you go. And then enter. Okay, and as you can see, I had to do more counting, right? So like, where's number 4? Like, what's in number 4? Oh, Filipino restaurant, right? And then, oh, I have to look at the first name, so I have to put a number 1. Oh, the city is reference number 2, so I have to put number 2. And it's the same here on the array part, right? I have to choose my data set, and then I have to count where is the city. I have to count where the Filipino restaurant is. So there's more manual counting, and there's more potential for human error. That's why index by itself is recommended when you have a smaller data set. And if you have a bigger data set, it's ideal to use a different function or merge index with a different function, and I'll be covering that more on my next blogs. So that's index. And if you want to learn more about Excel, I cover Excel tutorials and tips every Monday. Just go to www.angexcels.com and subscribe, or go on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. And I post, quotes and Excel tips every every Sunday to Friday on my Facebook and Instagram. So go check it out, follow me, and if you have any questions, just leave on a comment below. And I hope you guys have a good Monday and happy learning!